You raise a good point. Like, given where the league is today, it's not uh, a league set up for. It's not based on his style of play, right? Like, he's not shooting 3 pointers by any means. He did show at moments he can handle the ball dribbling, but not like really handling the ball dribbling. Like, he's incredibly dominant, but not the style of big man today. But if he did come out today with his exact same skills then, I wonder if he would change the league completely into the direction of big guy down low who can just dominate. The same way that Steph Curry, when he helped transform the league into we can just shoot a ton of threes and now everyone can shoot threes. So I hadn't thought about that, but in a way, I think that's an interesting kind of thought of like what impact as we talk about this whole bracket being about impact. I bet Shaq would have had even more impact on the league if he came out today, given how dominant he was and how much he changed the league, even when he came out, when centers were kind of playing that game anyway, he still was so dominant and influential to the league. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Steve?
I think it's an interesting point. I think that if Shaq were to come in the league now, he would change things. If he was on the right team with the right coach, kind of like, Steph got, and they could fashion an offense that allowed him to play low post, because no one could guard him. So he'd be dominant. But,
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
the inclination is three first, then two. I think it'd be really interesting to see a guy like Shaq come in the league now. I mean, we talked about this last year. My sleeper pick last year was that big guy from Purdue, Zach Edey, and they had him dropping out. I said
Oh, yeah.
he'll be a good player if he's on the right team. He gets doubles before he got hurt. He got
Yeah.
doubles, and he's like a tenth or a 20th of the guy Shaq was. So and he doesn't shoot beyond five
Yeah.
or 6 feet out. So if Shaq were in the league now on just an average team, he would tear the league up. And then how they reacted to it would be
Yeah.
interesting. And that'd be the whole thing about, oh, it's so much better to shoot threes than twos. Now when Shaq's shooting twos, he would change the game. Now, of
Right.
course, his Achilles heel would be foul shooting.
Yeah.
But boy, it'd be fun to watch
Yeah.
a dominant low post player who didn't have an outside game.
Yeah.
Well,
I
Zach,
mean, his
go ahead.
field goal percentage would be like 800. It would just be incredible. You know what I mean? Like it would just he would just be dunking on everybody. It would be like the dunk on Chris Dudley every single play. Just like completely just slamming over someone and throwing them down. Just because of how different the league is today, I think it would be really interesting to watch because he was still just so dominant even then against these big strong guys down low and just given it's been now 15, 20 years of kids growing up playing more the style of the NBA right now, that it would be I think a real shock to the NBA system to have a guy like Shaq come out today.
Well, and they're doing hack a Shack and all that other stuff, getting double, triple teamed, and his career shooting percentage is almost 60%. Zach Edey this year is 63%.
Wow. Wow.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
to Steve's point, he plays today. I think you're right, Mark. He's shooting 70, 80%. So, when you start tilting the floor like that with that kind of percentage, and you can't double and triple team like they did before, so if you just do the math, right, 70% of a two, that's better than 40% of a three. So that tilts the floor quite a bit.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
would really, the league would have to make a lot of changes. I mean, part of how we assessed Shaq being on this list and where he was on this list in this tournament was on the rules where if the league is creating rules because of you, you made an impact, right? And so they did. Teams devised whole strategies against him, and then the league had to adjust, the rules a little bit. In a way, the game would be incredibly exciting right now with him in it, but also really boring because it would just be nonstop fouls. And so they would have to figure out a way to really work around that because it would just be unbearable to watch, the 12th guy on the bench come in and just, rack up 6 fouls in 6 possessions.